Oh wow! Okay, loads and loads of crazy things going on. Hello, everybody. It's the Silly Wiz back again with another bit of BattleTech, and today I feel very, very privileged. I have two really nice people with me here today. I have Chester Hendricks, number one up, the Grampy potentially of the BattleTech CCG scene because he's been playing that long, and like everyone else that comes on the stream, you get a card. Okay, Michael Cohen got one. He got Command Center Cohen. Gustav Olsen got Champion of Solaris. So just for Chester and only Chester, we have the Chester card in the Silly Wiz vein, and this card is called Chess Star Deep Artist. Okay, and I'm taking the mick out of his Comstar Deep Agent deck. And this card has the following ability: begin the game with this card in the command post. Just because of the wonderful ruling that went on a few weeks ago. When you activate any unit or command card, your opponent shows you the top 70 cards of their stockpile. You may replace the artwork of any card in play with one of those cards, change all the text on the card to match the new artwork, and then scrap the remaining cards. So yes, it is totally funny. Yes, there are spelling mistakes in there, and yes, I still haven't finished it. Unfortunately, life has been such that things have got in the way. It's been a monster couple of weeks, to be honest. Okay, and along with Chester, the second person we have tonight is the Oracle of BattleTech, the oh, just BattleTech really, Mitch Grant. And Mitch gets the Mitch Effect card, which is, of course, a command and artillery card. And like other cards, begin the game with the card in play. At any point, you may remove any factually incorrect card from the game and add a counter to this card and tap it. And yeah, I haven't put the tap symbol in yet. There's still WIP. And it says tap, deal 50 damage to each site and card in play for each counter on the card. And this came up when we were discussing the other week. The quote comes from Bob Filler, or sorry, Bob Fibber from Good Morning Vietnam. If you remember where Adrian Cronar was saying, "Tell me what you want," and the artillery guy says, "Play anything, play it loud." So there's my bit of fun for the start of today. So let me get rid of all of that rubbish that I haven't finished. Gentlemen, how are you?
Very best. And yourself, man.
Chester, you okay?
I am here. I'm trying very hard to keep my mic muted so that you don't have to listen to the background noise.
No, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Okay. So, yeah, this came up the other week. We were discussing draft. Surprisingly there was three of us in the Discord server, and we were all having a good chat. And we said we should do this more often, and we put a date in the calendar, which we totally failed to do. We all got the day right. We got the time wrong by hours. So it's a miracle that they're all here. But you know, hopefully we can do this more often. We had a few ideas about what we might do last time. You know, we might do a worst deck competition, or we were, because we've all played in the sealed drafty thing with a Commander's Edition box, and we've all played each other. We're all looking at each other's decks and saying, "Yeah, you build it like this, and I build it like that," and it would be good to share that. And also, we could build it really badly and give it to somebody else to play, which we thought might be fun. So yeah, yeah, guys, if you are still up for that, then I am.
Or whatever. I wasn't expecting the stream. I thought we were just hanging out on the Discord for a few minutes.
So. Yeah, I thought we were as well.
But very sneaky.
Why the hell not? Yeah, and my apologies, because I can get you guys to webcam in and get your faces on the screen if you really want those few moments of fame.
Who wants to see my mug? It'll break the camera.
Well, you know, we can always put a piece of artillery in there or something or other. You never know.
Good old triple
I'm
seven.
not afraid of anything. Bring it.
Oh, that's a great motto for life. Oh, so guys, I'm here for a bit of fun and a bit of a laugh and a relax. Is there anything you want to talk about or do or whatever else, or any ideas or anything?
We had been talking about your Comstar, some test builds, or doing some tests on your Comstar one. And I think Chester also said he had a cube build.
Right, let me no, I don't want that. Let me go and find. Oh, yeah, right. Have I got it in here? Or is it somewhere else? It's the Comstar Batchel deck. Yes, I've got it. Okay, so right, the Comstar Batchel deck. So, just for anyone out there, how is a Batchel tournament run? And it's a bit different from most other tournaments in the fact that you have to bring 2 decks. Okay, the first deck is semi written or produced by the organizer, and at that point I'm putting my hand in the air and saying this is something that I put together to be reasonably balanced without being OTT. I think I've got the right one here. I had about 3 or 4 different versions of it. Let me check that. But anyway, so the idea is that there is a defending deck of which, in this case, there are 45 cards, and you are allowed to fill that to 60 cards as per a normal deck, and add a sideboard to it. Okay, and this deck is played against a clan deck. And as we're doing the battle of, come on, Mitch, what is it? Because I can't say it properly. Tukiyid, yeah. And it sounds like me, Turkey Kid, and baby turkeys and whatever. Okay. So as we're doing that, then basically you get the choice of choosing any of the clans that you want. Okay, you can try and react history, play Smoke Jagger and die horribly. Or, maybe you get yourself a reasonable draw with some of the other factors, or maybe play Wolf and try and win. Okay. But you play one match against somebody else, and whether you play your Inner Sphere Comstar deck or you play the Invading Clan deck depends on a bid value. Okay. And basically, the rules are that the lower bid value wins. So and that clan deck is often a lot less than 60 cards. So the art with the Inner Sphere deck is to try and make it as resilient and as stubborn as possible, and possibly try and anticipate some of the clan builds, so to speak. Okay, I think I've done an okay explanation of that. Okay, so anyway, gentlemen, what do you think of the Comstar deck?
Where can I see it?
1, it's on the tournament, and 2, it's currently on my screen at the moment. If you've got Twitch open, Chester. Yeah. Okay.
Full size on that
What's
one.
it called?
Give me a second. I will.
I know how to help with this one.
Yeah.
So I'm in the server.
Yeah. Don't worry.
I see 2 games.
Yeah.
There, in our chat there, Chester. I sent a link to the Twitch stream. Just click on that.
Oh, there's the deck.
Oh, hold on. You meant in the Facebook.
Yeah.
And there's the deck itself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I follow that.
Hyper pulse generator, Thorn, defensive formation.
Yeah. And the idea is that this isn't a streamlined deck.
No, it's a slog deck, and it's a little bit of everything, and then what you're going to do with your last 15.
Yeah. Arguably, you could say this is reasonably close to one of the Comstar starters, potentially.
Yes.
It's that kind of makeup. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All 5 assets.
Like you only get one of anything. So I can add any 15 cards.
You can add whatever you want to this deck. You just can't remove any of these cards. So there are 45 cards. You can add 15 others that work for you.
But do they all have to be singletons, or can I add multiples?
No, you could add 5 mongoose if you want.
Interesting.
But the idea,
we both start out with the same one.
Everybody has that deck, and depending on what you bid, if you bid high and someone undercuts you, they play the clan deck and you play this Inner Sphere deck. If you bid lower than them, you play your clan deck to beat this Inner Sphere deck.
Okay, where's the clan deck?
And your clan deck you make, and this is one thing I wasn't completely clear on.
Yeah.
You're going to say, okay, here's my 60-card clan deck. I'm going to take out, I'm going to take out my dragonflies, all of them, right? Or 3 of my 4 dragonflies to make my deck weaker. That's the concept?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to be clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got defensive formation off the hop is a throwaway card. I mean, it's I guess 1 damage to each of your units. It's not what I thought it was. So I was thinking of the lance card. I was thinking
lance formation. 5. Yeah.
Deep Lake, Narrow Valley, Minefield, right from a thematic perspective, is awesome for 2 kid because it was guerrilla warfare against the clans. They were using Deep Lakes and Minefields. I like it.
Thank you. I did a lot of research on that, you know.
Oh yeah, I can imagine you did.
I don't feel an incoming artillery bombardment after that.
I'm just building it in my own lackey as we go here. You and I both know how much we love Deep Lake. How sneaky that card can be. What's its cost curve look like here? It looks like the cost curve is going to be a little steep on it for a later game.
Mm-hmm. That's possible.
Like it definitely looks like you're leaning. If you're one of units, just a quick glance, it looks like over half your units are cost 4 or greater, or very close to. Especially when you add your buy-ins and things like that for your exterminator, making sure that you have to have munitions down. 2 politics in Comstar seems weird to me, but I guess you're not playing a standard Comstar deck in its style and build.
Actually, I think there are 9 mechs that are 1 to 3, and 8 mechs that are 4 to 8.
Okay.
But I take your point that you draw one of those heavier ones early, then it's not coming out particularly quickly. Yeah.
Well, even a couple of your 3 costs like that, like your I keep looking at indiscriminate terrorism as a bad example, needing the politics in the middle of your units, but like some of your 3 costs can get really expensive quickly if they're missing their extra one, right? So even paying 4 for that exterminator feels a little bit much for me. Maybe I'm a little cheap.
I think when you look at it,
hoping you're going to have your assembly, and again, you can add more to that. Yeah. One of the things I'd probably add right away in my 15 cards to what are we at? We're at you have 15 base resources.
Yep.
Or 17 base resources. Yeah, I might actually up a couple of them. Like I might put munitions up to 5 and assembly up to 6 even.
Yeah.
Right off the hop of my first 15 cards. Just because I like, and this is why I wanted to bring these exercises up. The 3 of us build decks very differently. You have a very mathematical look at it. I seem to have I want to build a consistent treadmill of a deck, right? I look for that consistent one effect. with a bit of a theme, and then Jester is just, you get so many wonderful surprises with Jester.
Surprising guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the first things you could do is put 4 war funds in there.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Especially if you're running all your resources. Actually, you're right. Yeah, LPMTA. Yeah.
So, quick question here: is this from the base game, or can I put in BT cards?
Base game only.
Yeah.
Base game only. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That will change a lot. Okay,
You know those too well.
I'd be likely, honestly, again for consistency. I think I like the idea. Toolbox. What are you at for total units there? You said 9 and 7, so you're at 16 units.
Something like that, yeah.
I really like the idea of the war funds. I like the idea of more Comguard response teams against any clan deck. They can easily cut out a lot of their heavy hitters to cut costs and still end up with you could a 45 card Dasher Elemental deck doesn't hurt clans, right? And that's ridiculously aggressive. So I come as a Clan Wolf player or Clan Bear player. I'm like, yeah, there goes my Kodiak, there goes my Grizzly, because I don't care.
Yeah.
All I want is my win condition down. All I want are my Elementals and my Dashers.
Yeah.
Right, going at fast speed around most of your Comstar units. Right. If I'm thinking about this as a clan player, and even a traditional clan player, was go fast, go hard, go aggressive. How do you turn this deck into more of a slog?
Yeah.
Right.
The only thing
missing difficult terrain is a mistake.
Sorry, say that again, Mitch.
Missing difficult terrain?
Oh, you would add difficult terrain in order to be able to block the faster ones, etc., etc.
To help plink them off, yeah, things like that.
Okay, valid point.
You need either Comguard response team. You need something to really counter a very, very small, very fast assembly oriented clan deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
How can I get this thing larger?
Full screen.
Be able to read it. Well, I've got the other thing open.
Oops.
That's a little bit.
What am I doing?
That's going to take me a while to add this all together, but I'll get there.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts as you're looking at this, Mark? Curiously, like as you put it together.
Okay, so I wanted to try and be reasonably thematic without completely ditching the deck into non-eventdom, but I didn't want to turn it into something that was going to make it overly difficult for overly easy for the clan. So it's quite a fine line to walk. You know, for me, you could, for example, you've got Anastasius in there, and he's actually quite a powerhouse card when you look at him.
Well, when you know you're always going to be playing against clans. Absolutely.
Yes, absolute powerhouse card here. And
there's a Faber. Why that's another one that would be like, why not just you're playing clans? Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the places I was going. I was just saying that he could be powerful, but you've got to draw him. And with two politics in the deck, and he's a heavy cost without it, then you might decide, you know what? If he turns up, he turns up. If he doesn't, he doesn't. You could build a deck around him. Yes, you have the lovely Judith as well, the woman looking over her shoulder in that kind of Beyonce pose kind of thing. Each player who controls a clan card plays with the top card of their stockpile face up. Again, that's quite powerful to see what you could do with that and see what's coming. And she's only 1/3p, so she's possibility. Mindo, I don't think will get played. Restock one of your resources in play and choose an opponent. Tap all of his cards that provide P, because I don't see a great deal of clan players playing politics. The only time I can see them playing it will be for creative terraforming, if they do. Cheryl Murray
Mech Warrior Trent.
Mech Warrior Trent. Where are we?
It's Trent. There's the other one in the picture with Judith. It's his Smoke Jaguar patch. You see.
Okay.
But he's the one that's your next mission is turn against a target other than a stockpile cannot be blocked if the defending player controls clan cards.
Yeah. I'll flash him up in a second. Show Alarm Murray. Choose a player. When you activate Show Alarm Murray, that player gets -1 initiative. That's quite strong because that stops missions being played potentially. So the clan player might have a bit to think about. And we've got good old Mech Warrior Trent. Here he is. Next mission again. Turn against a target other than a stockpile cannot be blocked if the defending player plays or controls any clan cards. Use it during ability. Yeah, could be used. Could be used. So there are options there. I feel. You could put the High Command card in because that's got AL, MP, and T. That's quite worth it. You can go with the Chester card and Comstar Deep Agent and mess around with the clan players, stockpile. That's quite possible.
But that leads you back towards politics.
Yeah, but then you've got room for Solaris if you want it.
True.
You could play that.
What does it do? Sorry.
Is Chester okay?
Yeah, I'm fighting with the deck builder here.
Yeah. So I think there is enough in there to give one or two ways of customizing it, one or two ways of beating the clans up. You can tweak it a number of ways. Given its flexibility, I took one of the resources out and put in Comstar support, which is when you activate it, choose an asset, and it provides that asset. So it does give a little bit of think tankiness to it. Obviously, it's a little weaker. And then the units are reasonable, I think. Again, they're there to represent stuff. It's not 6 mongoose. There are a variety in there. There is some value in there, and some totally other strange stuff that a lot of people haven't looked at or played. Something that could actually be quite strong, like something like the Grim Reaper, if you can get it on the table as a medium. 1/8 is quite durable. The Grand Crusader is. I just hate that card so much. It's just such a bad card, but it's quite strong. King Crab. You could go more pilots on here. There's a load of overheat with Comstar. There is an absolute bucket load of overheat left, right, and centre. You look at the Champion, you look at the Lancelot, you look at the Reaper, you look at the Black Knight, the Highlander. Okay, some of them are better than others. You look at the Flashman. There is a bucket load of overheat in there. You could redline pilot, 4 redline pilots in there, for example. Could really and the Wyvern as well, up the damage on that. There's a couple of Alpha Strikers.
Well, and the interesting thing too is as you're building it, you're not thinking of. You said it originally. You're not thinking necessarily about winning in a traditional way. You can win by forcing your clan player to go too low. Right? They're likely to start at a deficit of cards to you.
Yes.
So things like your Comstar Deep Agent and Champion combination, because they're cheap. Can just stall out his deck to the point where there's just no chance of winning.
Yeah,
the player's
decks. Quite possible.
I like that kind of shenaniganry because it's also very cheap. You're not worried about a lot of things.
So. So to clarify, the clan decks are built on damage. Okay, So each point of damage that a mech does counts as 1 point towards the total of the deck, or bid value as it's often called. So a Dasher Prime, 023, our good old Dasher Prime, is actually 3 points. So that counts to 3 points because it does 3 points of damage. So yeah, you could put six dashes in there, but that's 18 points, and you're probably looking at winning with a deck that's
Yeah, but I put a Kodiak in my deck or two just to throw away intentionally for 7.
Are you trying to gimp your deck?
You build a deck around a 45 card deck.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you have 15 cards that you could play, but they're bait. Much like when you're talking about big mech decks, where you were saying throw away the Daiichi, right?
Yeah.
You play Clan Ghost Bear again, and you throw in a Kodiak, 7 damage.
Okay.
Right?
That's
right. I'll throw out 4 Kodiaks. There's 28 damage. What are you going to throw out?
Okay.
Well, you're throwing them out, right? They're not even going in the deck for that, right?
Can I ask a question here?
Sure.
Okay, so when we do the bidding, it's not just here's my bid and you show your bid and whoever shows wins. It's I start a bid at, let's say, 100. You underbid me. I'll bid 80. Do I get then to go 79?
No. It's
one bid only.
It's what we would in the UK call a Dutch auction. So you make one bid, no one knows what the bids, and they're all open. Okay. So is that okay? You're happy with that?
I'm still not quite 100% understanding because I'm listening to Mitch talk about I can put this in and that in and take
right.
them out.
And I just want to clarify that because Mitch was talking about the Kodiak. Okay. Now the Kodiak, when you look at it, is 7 points of value on its own. So you probably won't put one in a deck. You would probably build a 45 card deck. And in fact, hell, let's go and do this. So shall we try and build a Smoke Jag deck?
Yeah, do an example one I think would be
cool.
Because the Comstar is fairly straightforward. We all got a concept of that now.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go with the classic Smoke Jag deck. What is the classic Smoke Jag deck? If you said if someone said I'm playing Smoke Jag, you would expect missiles. So you would probably go with Ryokan D. Okay, and the reason with Ryokan D is it's missile 3 and it's got Narc built in. Okay, so the value of Ryokan D in this case is 1, which is its base damage, plus the number of missiles. So this
is a 4.
So that's a 4. Yeah. Now, just while we're here, compare that to your Dasher, which is 3 because it does 3 damage. So and you're looking at a 2/7/1 missile 3 Narc versus medium versus a fast dash 023. So you might decide that actually Dasher Prime is a bit frail and the value for 3 points might be a bit much. And my Ryokan might give me better value. Okay, it's going to take me a bit to get it on the board, but hey. Okay, so if you're going to do missiles, then the little Puma guys really come into their own. You've got Puma A, which 3 cost 151 missile 3. That's 4 points as well. And then we have Puma C, 152 missile 2 with Narc. That's 4 points as well. 2 points for the damage and plus 1 for every missile. So Puma A, 1 damage, 3 missiles, 4 points. Puma C, 2 damage, 2 missiles, 4 points. Ryokan D, 1 damage, 3 missiles, 4 points. They are all worth 4 Batshell points each. Okay? Because it's the damage plus missiles is your bid value. Okay.
Yep.
Happy enough?
So we're making a 45 card deck or a 60 card deck?
We're making a deck that's what we want it to be. We can make a deck as many cards up to 60 that we want. It can be under 60, but the panacea here, the balancing fact, is that you will have to win with it against that Comstar deck.
And you know the bare minimum of the Comstar, plus or minus what way they may go, right? So you've got to figure out how are you going to counter that, and how are you going to go for your kill.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be playing 2 games. I'm going to be playing 1 game with my Comstar deck against his clan deck, and then I'll play another one with my clan deck against his Comstar deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the example. Okay, you're playing Mitch. Okay, the bid value of your deck is 80 points. The bid value of Mitch's deck is 75 points. Mitch will play his clan deck against your Inner Sphere deck, best of 3. Yeah.
So I gotta put together now. What is the only card value is in the units and their attack and missile value. Is that it?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so I can put in as many pilots and this and that, or do pilots, do their attack value count?
Yes.
Good question.
Okay, so here are 2 pilots.
Attack value counts. Okay.
Yeah, here are 2 pilots. 1, targeting ace. It is a 1-cost 2T. You can change the dice. You're familiar with targeting ace. It has no printed attack value. Okay, so there's no modifier to it. That is worth 1 point. Okay, for a card. If you look at a Star Commander, the Star Commander has a +2 printed attack value. Therefore, it's 2 points for each Star Commander you put in your deck.
All right. So the only thing I'm looking for is the printed attack value. All of those in my deck add up to whatever that's going to become my bid.
Yeah. Okay.
If I bid lower than him, then I get to play
clan
deck, and he's stuck with the stupid Comstar people.
Yeah. All right. My stupid Comstar deck. Yeah. Okay. Just taking that a step further. Basic resources cost you nothing. So any support assemblies, etc., cost you nothing. Anything else costs you 1. So an improved construction facilities costs you 1. It's got no attack value. You get 1 for it. War funds cost you 1. Think tank costs you 1. Okay.
All right. That's fair.
And any mission costs you 1.
Anything without an attack value on it costs you 1, except for standard support cards.
Bingo. Yeah. Yeah. So I know so potentially strong cards could be superior navigation, because you get 2 you could get 2 attacks with it. For 1 point, you can attack, untap, attack again. Very strong card.
Up to 4 points of damage potentially.
Yes.
For 1 point versus 4 points paying for it.
Yeah.
So that card is potentially a 5-point swing for anybody.
Yeah. Unopposed.
Yeah.
Another great card for doubling damage. It only costs you 1 point of battle value, but it can, well, obviously it has quite a big effect. Yeah.
We can get through. Brilliant.
Yeah. So
nice.
whilst we're here, let's go for let's have a look at the clan stuff. And I'm gonna go with where am I? What am I looking for? I'm going for keyword I want to search on.
Coup de grace becomes good.
Potentially. Okay. So, looking at them, Aletha. She's +1.
Yep.
+1 attack. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's strong. Bjorn is a monster because he has no plus value at all. Bjorn Jorgensen, the original one.
+5 damage to any target other than a mech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he would just cost you 1.
He
as an
costs you
additional
1,
card,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, do we have to follow universal
You
deck
do.
construction rules for
Yep.
the Comstar? It has to be Comstar only. I can't put Davian cards in there, or
Nope.
I can.
No, it's a Comstar versus whichever clan deck your opponent chooses.
And so if I'm going to put in Bjorn, it's got to be a Ghost Bear deck.
Yes.
I can't put Jade Falcon stuff in it.
No.
No, but that means you can take Bjorn and Aletha as really strong cards, superior nav on fast mechs, and
Right.
Yeah, could do.
Okay.
Could do. Yeah. What else was I going to say? Martha. Martha could be really strong because she gets +2 for each Jade Falcon mech with her.
So she's just going to count as 1, right?
She's going to count as 1, yeah. You know, she might have that Che Guevara look going on, but she's a monster in this potentially. Yeah.
Wow.
oddly, I think this favors clan where the wolves are. I think this favors some of the other clans than Clan Wolf. Oddly,
possibly.
Where
Yeah.
wolves are so vanilla.
Yeah.
They're still good. You'll
Yeah.
run your fast mech one, but like.
So what
Piloted by.
what would I say here? Natasha, she's expensive, but the fact that she comes back to your hand is quite strong. The Wolf High Command got no printed value. It's 1. Okay, yes, it weakens your mechs, but if played at the right point, giving everything an extra 1 damage could be a great game ender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, if you're going to play Smoke Jag, then the High Command goes in. That's great value for money, so to speak.
Does Ghost Bear High Command have a place in your deck if you're playing Ghost Bears?
Whenever a card other than a resource or unit is scrapped from your stockpile, put it in your hand.
Yeah, so when you're going to be running a smaller deck and you're going to be likely in running tighter resources, is something like that worth it for helping you in the long run? Or is it as a 1 unique, 2 unlikely, where you're trying to have a very tight engine-based deck?
I think the problem with Ghost Bear High Command is that basically it's whenever you get to scrap stuff. Whenever a card other than a resource or unit is scrapped from your stockpile, which means the other guy's hitting it. And my personal preference is for him not to hit it to start with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It might be. I was going to go to Perigard next.
I was looking at that for recycling missions. Yeah.
Yes.
Keeping superior nav up or keeping
recycling any of them. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bit expensive because he's 2, because he's got a printed 2 attack value. But he, you know, that on the table and you get a couple of a couple of missions back, then the only thing you say is, do I play Perigard or do I play Black Market? He's 2.
Perigard gives you damage, so Perigard will cost you 3 or 2.
2.
Black Market will cost you 1.
Yeah.
But you're playing a smaller deck. It's honestly a toss up. It's going to be depending on your engine.
It's an interesting quandary. It's an interesting dilemma between them. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, as I said, Bjorn is powerful. Martha is powerful. Peregrine, if you draw him and recycle a couple of missions, that's powerful. Vlad costs you 1, but allows you to attack any mech. So does your strategy revolve around removing his fast mechs? Not sure.
I mean, you're going to potentially have a speed. You're likely to have the speed advantage.
Mm-hmm.
But a question is the. I'm just going to quickly throw it together because I don't have it anymore saved up. But I wonder if like a standard Steel Viper deck just does like your 4 damage unopposed deck just does really well in this format.
Okay.
Because you're looking at trying to double that 4 damage for free, like your
right,
either your coolers or whatever.
So,
right.
This is a great comment. Thank you, Mitch. I couldn't have primed you better. It brings us on to some other great cards that could be really good in this game. Viper's Maw is a great finisher. But when you look at Battle Cobras, okay. So if we look at the Battle Cobra B, okay, it does 3 damage. Okay. So it costs you 3 points. The overheat and long range 2 are not counted into those points. So it costs you 3, but you can actually get 5 damage out of it.
So so then the Battle Cobra A and the B both become quite good then.
Where's my red line pilot?
Yeah. And of course, your red line doesn't cost anything because there's no listed value. But then do you go with your dragonflies? Your B's got an overheat.
That's what I was looking at too. Yeah, especially in your con Bjorn deck, Ghost Bear, the dragonflies go really well. You get your overheat jump, so you can get some mission flexibility. The jump hurts you in this technically,
but you might decide you want to play risky. Yeah, that could work. What's Jade Falcon got going for it?
Where's my Polaris contact?
Sorry, Chester?
Polaris contact.
Basic resource +1 damage, isn't it? Let's have a look.
Cost to get him out.
Yep, 1 damage. Yep. So yeah, throw those out. Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to have that out because if you're going to play a pilot deck, it's free to play. And that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah. The only problem is that that's in a sphere only, so you're only going to be putting that in your Comstar deck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. However, does that make trial of Bloodright possible? Scrap trial of Bloodright when revealed. Search your stockpile for any pilot card. Deploy that card and activate it without paying its construction cost. Doesn't count towards a deployment. Shuffle your stockpile. Hello, Bjorn.
Yeah, building a political
clan deck, though.
Yeah, but it's I have to play the trial of Bloodright. It's a free to play in and of itself, but it's not reusable. I play it once and it's gone. Polaris Contacts is just
but one's clan and one's in a sphere. Now, if you're talking Comstar deck, yes. if you're talking clan, no.
No.
So, but you might decide that I've got 3 big pilots in there I want, or a big pilot I want to pull out. And the other thing with that is that it will ignore the cost of the pilot. Effectively, it's free. A pilot's costing 3 politics. So you could start with A and P, Dasher, another resource, Trial of Bloodright, Bjorn, hit the guy for 8. Superior Nav on tap.
Totally doable.
Totally doable. And more likely when you've got less cards in the deck. Because you're
And that's what I was getting at with trying to build like a 30-card clan deck where it's pure engine. It just goes for the kill.
Yeah.
Right for the jugular.
Yeah. Okay. So for clarification, the minimum amount is 40 cards.
40 cards. Yeah.
40
no,
cards.
my point was still the same, remains
Yeah.
the same.
Yes.
Right? Like
Yeah.
40 cards.
Yeah.
That is one of the two, that and kind of the Viper deck are the two that kind of stick out to me as being just potentially very, very good in this format.
Yeah. I think my worry with Jade Falcon is Martha is great, but when you actually look at some of the Fire Falcons, they actually cost quite a bit. That Fire Falcon C doing 4 damage with AP, cost of 4 is quite heavy. You know, the Fire Falcon B is not bad because you can get 4 out of it with an overheat. Steel Talons is obviously brilliant.
How do you quantify elementals here where they have all that extra damage they provide? Is it just the 3 cost or 2 cost base damage and their additional is additional?
Yeah. So your skirmisher elemental point is going to cost you 3. And you know, yes, it's got a lot of extra. Well, the Blitzkrieg one is the one that's all the extra damage on everything else, isn't it? But you know, the fact that they've got AP is ignored for the damage. So a 3 battle value card doing 4 damage it's not bad value. Not bad value at all.
So I think that what's cool about this format is the standard clan AMT deck. Like I'm just looking right now, a few cards based on what we've talked about, building a base kind of engine around superior navigation, unopposed, Viper's Maw, right? Your standard Uller 4 damage thing, right? My cost curve it's pretty clan. It's not sitting around 1, but it can hover around that 2-3 marker fairly easily, right? You get your Uller A, 4 damage. I know there's no bonuses in your Ullers, but that's your deployment costs, right?
B is your alpha, isn't it?
Yeah, but then you get into, well, you got to be careful about your alignments, right? With your Ullers, a lot of them are Jade Falcon. Oh, no, that one has it too, the B. Yep. So you grab the B. Yep, absolutely. But you have some really cool, getting into that overheat concept.
Yeah.
You have some really cool options. Even moving into less good, but Alpha Strike potentially. Sharpshooter is Sharpshooter inner sphere only? No.
Not generic.
No. Generic.
Yeah. So again, +2 and does not deplete. So she'll cost you 2 in your client because she's adding +2, but that does not deplete on, say, your Pumas, right? Suddenly now they're adding +4, right? Every time they swing. So
Puma D is quite good value at that. Yes.
Yeah, Puma B and the Puma D actually both come in decently.
Yeah.
Even the Puma Prime for 5 at 4. I was comparing that to your standard Mana War at 5. Same damage profile, but you get the overheat for +2, right? And the long range, which in a deck, again, you're doing whittling down. Long range 3 is huge in this kind of
Yep.
format, I believe. And believe it or
Yeah,
not,
it is.
the Wavering 2C Overheat 3, right? So you're going to pay 4 for it, 5, and that creates, like, if you look at that cost curve, you're at an AM cost curve, right? Going up 1 per turn. And all of them provide either Alpha Strike of 2 or Overheat of 2 or 3, right? So all of them just start pounding out damage.
Yeah.
Also, all of them are at 3 or 4 or 5 base damage for your Superior Nav unopposed Viper's Maw. And even your Battle Cobra A as a big mech can become a 7 damage monster from 5 cost, right? Fairly easily in this deck.
See,
yeah.
If you could get it on the table, Mitch, your Kodiak is not actually bad value.
If you get it on the table.
Yeah. It only costs you
this 7 overheat, yeah.
7 overheat, 3 alpha.
Yeah.
Well, all you gotta do is build it.
You can get 17 out of that puppy. Yeah, you just got to get it on the table. That's the big problem.
Well, and it's only the logistics, really. That's a big problem. Because in this format, it's going to be, you could be potentially facing a much slower game.
Yeah.
Right? With that mixed clan deck. I wouldn't say it's not worth having 1, maybe 2, right? Depending on how you build your deck, right? To be like, hey, here's something to deal with. Oh.
Yeah.
Where's that Ghost Bear deck I was looking at?
So I've just filtered a whole load of oh yeah, I know what I'd be tempted to go with.
You were talking about Jags, and we didn't even talk about
snottiest. If Neil Rawlings was here, he would describe this as the snottiest piece of mech on a stick you could get. The Cauldron Board A.
Oh, gross with the 6 overheat because you don't care. You're just going for the swing damage. Oh.
Yeah, you could Cauldron Born A it. You could go, if you go munitions, you go Genitou C, Peregrine, Shadow Hawk. No, Shadow, what's it, Prime? Yeah, Shadowhawk Prime. You could go Grendels as well. Because you've got your oh, is it Grendel B? Which no, it's Grendel, not D, not Prime. Not Prime. Is the bloody Grendel gone? It should be Clan. Oh, because I'm filtering on overheat. You've got the 162 Alpha Strike, and then you've got the 165. Yeah, you know, there's options there. Yeah, Cauldron Born A for the kill. Give me a heroic sacrifice.
Well, I'm wondering, is there a Paul Moon deck here?
Paul?
Smoke Jaguar Paul Moon. Can
yeah,
you pull
yeah.
that
Let me
off?
just change my filters.
Paul That's what I'm thinking about. Because he's 3, but then you're going to toss in another elemental. You could play your Skirmisher elementals too, because they're only 1 cost.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and they're going to give you, because it says deal 1 structure damage. So according to your ruling on Bjorn, they're free damage as well if you want it to be.
Yep.
Like that could be an interesting.
Well, the thing with Paul Moon is he's basically got Fanatical Leader built into him for battle armor.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, all those battle armors get +1 as well as AP. So him with 2 skirmisher elemental points, he's going to deal 4, 5 each, and he's going to do that's 15 damage from 3 elemental points. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you can get the man and his sexy blue lycra out there if you want.
And we'd be playing with official Blitzkrieg too, so he'd be 1 cost.
Yeah, you play Blitzkrieg, yeah.
I like the illustration there, Paul Moon. It's got the very what's thinking of the movie? the movie about the band, uh, where it was a fictional band. Name of that movie. Oh my gosh, I can see it clear as day.
Sounds like Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap, yes, because the one guy always wound up having problems going through the line at the airport. He would go through the metal detector, and he'd always have to bring out the sock full of quarters, that he carried around with him.
The cod piece, yes.
On Paul Moon there, yeah, it's a little nod to a Spinal Tap. That's what it is.
Yes.
We'll leave it at that.
Yes. I do like the elemental suits in the background looking like fat stormtroopers from Star Wars.
Actually, so much there in that illustration.
Actually, that reminds me of something I've got to ask.
There's somewhere between the exo steel suits from the old cartoon that they stole off and Battlestar Galactica Cylons.
Yeah.
With those big visors.
I've got to mention this. I've got to ask this. Okay. The Jade Falcon logo, as per Commander's Edition, okay, there is the Jade Falcon in the front, yes. But does anybody think that that's in front of the shutter off a floppy disk?
Would be.
Or is that me? Yeah.
Like the 5-inch, or like the big one. Yeah. Let's go play Oregon Trail in Jade Falcon.
Every time I look at it, I just get this floppy disk flashback. Yeah. Okay, so let's spin it back. So, given what we've explored with the clan stuff, given that there might be a few pilots, there might be some of those nasty missions, there might be some dashes and elementals, and there might be some missiles. How would you approach the Comstar deck now? And I will also remind you that you can have a full 8-card sideboard.
So ComGuard response team costs you 5?
No. It's a mission. No printed value. 1. Yeah. Good value in that respect. Okay. And remember, it's the Comstar deck. You can put what you want in it.
Yeah. I'm still really sold on the good old fashioned. You're building 4 ComGuard response teams, because regardless what comes through, even if that gets milled on a missile deck, boom, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just gold.
Yeah.
It enters your deck when you don't know what's coming.
Yeah. Works well with Deep Lake as well.
What was I thinking? That must be the one I'm missing. No group containing more than 2 units can attack a target. Your Narrow Valley kills Paul Moon, because you're likely to see that as a 3-unit attack, but you could see it as a 2-unit attack. I just don't see someone sending 2 slow elementals to attack something in a clan deck. Right?
Not unless you're all tapped out, and that's just a strategy call on yourself, isn't it? So
yeah.
By the way, while you're thinking about that, have I mentioned how very much I'm enjoying listening to you guys talk about all this stuff? So that I have a fair idea of what you're going
to do. How much AMS would you want to? It's like Clan Wolf has some cheap missile mechs as well. If you're talking about like your Ice Ferret Rush, Jaguars missiles. Obviously, Falcon has a fair few missiles actually. Do you build? Because base AMS rules is it's an umbrella, right?
Yeah.
Do you build in a little bit more AMS? Is that actually worth it? What I'm looking at too with clan players is some of the cards, like your ECM providing cards, are not quite as good. It feels because most of those cards, so like your hand queue that you love, so it's also things you're planning not to face, right?
Yeah.
You're expecting damage spikes. How do you plan around that? Is there something that is there a card that locks down overheat that I'm missing?
Um.
Ooh, you know
Go,
what you're missing?
go on.
And everyone's gonna hate me for this.
Go on.
Battle attrition.
Yeah.
The two kid card. The what all two kid was based around to beat the clans. Battle attrition. You're worried about Jaguar missiles? No, right? You're worried about over or Alpha Strike boosts from and Sharpshooter? No, right? It shuts down, and it's at least a one of in the deck and a one of in your I would say one of in your side deck. It gives you too many answers. It is thematic to the deck. And you could even, like, if you end up facing a deck that you know you're not going to be up against groups, Narrow Valley could swap out for it easily in a deck space. I still think the Comstar Deep Agent Champion as an old faithful tactic of just messing with their deck is a great idea.
The thing with battle attrition is that they can pay to ignore those effects.
They can, but realistically, Utah cost curves all the time. They're not like it's something that comes up. You've got a whole thing on it. Forcing someone to pay 3 to get their missiles, to get their Alpha Strike.
Yep. Totally with you.
That throws cost curves out really hard, especially when you're talking about a deck that's already scrapped for thinning, right?
So my other thought when it came to missiles was obviously point defense system.
Yes.
If you're worried about that, then point defense system would be something I would seriously consider putting in the sideboard. If I think there's going to be a lot of missile mechs, then I might even go as many as 4 in the sideboard. Because one of those on the table is going to kill that missile deck dead. So, okay, it's a different way of getting rid of it. Battle attrition can do the same. As you point out, it's got a slightly broader effect for other things, like your Alpha Strike and stuff like that. Yeah, both are strong cards. Full stop. It doesn't do anything about overheat, but that depends on how you want to build your deck. If I was a clan player, I would be probably thinking about anywhere between 2 and 4 creative terraformings in my sideboard, because creative terraforming is one of the few ways of removing an enhancement, and obviously that's a terrain card, but a point defense system is I can't type today, is an enhancement. So as a clan player, and even though you can have a 53 card deck, for example, you can still have an 8 card sideboard. Okay. Obviously those cards count towards your total deck value. So creative terraforming, 1 point. If you're running something like an improved construction facilities and you've got the resources, you mightn't even run politics, because you might say 1-4p, I'm prepared to pay 5 for it because it's going to kill my game dead. If it's a Rocky Gorge versus my Dasher Elemental combo, I'm probably going to play improved construction facilities for the logistics. And then I can use that for my elementals as well. I can use that to pay for my creative terraforming if I need it, if he gets one out. If you're liking the the terrains in this, you could decide to go a couple of falsified maps. If you think the terrains are going to be important, you could put a couple of those main deck. You could put a couple more sideboard if you really think it's of value. There are options there. I think in this format that a potential missile deck is arguably a strong deck. So that might, point defense system, battle attrition might be in your sideboard, knowing that they'll probably sideboard against that potentially. The other one is, how do you deal with uniques? Because if the guy is playing Bjorn and Aletha, how do you get rid of them? And there aren't many cards that do it.
You can't get rid of Aletha because she doesn't have a structure.
You can with an assassination. Assassination 3-4p, scrap a pilot or unique card in play. That's quite strong because
your deck's already moving away from P. If you keep it there, you're likely to stay in your champion's side, right?
Yeah. I'm throwing ideas out here. I'm not saying this is definitive. Defection is funny. Scrap when revealed. Draw a card when you activate it. Choose a pilot that's not unique, and move it to an unpiloted mech you control. So steal their pilot. It's quite funny.
Oh.
Obviously, it doesn't do uniques. Protection Racket's funny as well because it turns their uniques into contracts. They have to pay 1-2p each turn for them.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
Unlikely Love Affair?
Yes.
Yeah, great value. Straight one cost, scrap it when it's revealed, choose a unique command, and restock it.
I would say that goes straight into your main deck as a at least one, in your Star deck.
Quite possible.
There's your right a unique command. There's Bjorn. There's Aletha. There's all of them, right? Yeah. And again, because you're talking about just likely throwing off the engine, because I'm doing up a few test Bachal decks just quickly. Unfortunately, one I don't think saved properly. And like you're like even just this Viper one I've done up where it's a lot of overheat. 12, 22, 24 Chroma Primes, two of those is 32, 34, rulers, another 12 is 48. Like having a combat ready deck, you're very still much talking about another 16 is you're still talking in the easily into like the 80 cost range. Very easily. And that's still just a deck designed to kill, nothing else.
Yeah.
And you're still probably going to be around a 50 card deck.
Yeah.
So, just when you're trying to create consistency, I'm so sure there's guys who can count cards better than me that would be able to be like, no, you only need 40 exactly in this combination. You got it. That's not me. But it'd be interesting to see. To touch base again, because I don't think Chester's doing it as we go, but to actually do when we do this and see what the clan decks come out as, because there are options. I like that it seems to move away from Clan Wolf. 1 second.
So on the screen, this is the example clan deck that I used. So just to hop through it again, we have 3 Dasher Primes. They have an attack value of 3, so 3 lots of those. They add 9 in total. 2 Dragonfly Bees. They have 3 damage with an overheat 2+1. So 2 lots of those are 6. 2 Blitzkrieg elemental points, 3 damage. Ignore the AP and ability. They come in at 6. Couple of Hankyu Primes, 3 damage again. They come in at 6. 2 Hankyu Cs, 4 damage from a Hankyu C, but it's got overheat 3+2, so you can get 6 out of it in total. Seems decent value. 8 of those. 4 Vulture Cs, 4 attack. 4 of those makes 16 in total. 2 Battle Cobra Primes with 4 attack and an overheat 1, give a total of 8. And 1 big fat Nightjaya Prime doing 10 damage with an overheat 1, if I remember rightly as well, giving a total bid value of mechs of 69. Then resources, 9 assembly, 9 tactics, 4 improved construction facilities. Basic resources are free, and the other cards, the improved construction facilities, count 1. So the total value of that is 4. And then finally over here, 2 Salama Mech Warrior, which has a listed attack of 1 and a bid value of 2, because there are 2 of them. Okay. Red lines cost 0, but the minimum attack, it's a 1 card, and there's 2 of those, so they cost 2. 2 unopposed, 2 overrun, 2 forged mission orders. They're all missions, so they cost 1 each, and there's 2 of them, so they cost 2. Single combat has no listed value, so that's worth 1 per card, and there's 2 of those. And in the main deck, 2 creative terraforming. We're going to pay the politics buyout. That costs 2 as well. So the total of that part is 14. And then when you add them all up, and all of my numbers have, all of my tabs and everything have gone out of the way because Google's converted it. 69 in units, 4 in resources, 14 in commands and missions, giving a total value of 87 points. Okay, and if you do add a sideboard, that counts as well. Okay.
I was going to ask about the sideboard, so that's going to count for your bid.
Yeah, that will count. Yeah.
Can you go back to your test deck there for me for a second? I just wanted to see some of them.
The
just as
Comstar deck?
Or no, your text clan deck, just quickly what you had. I'm just still thinking again about what the Comstar player would have as an option. Yeah. I still think things like I wonder why you don't have like Rocky Gorge in your base Comstar deck.
I can't make it too good.
Well, I guess between Rocky Gorge and or difficult terrain, they're kind of your one or the other. Even the base deck are your staple anti-clan terrains. Yeah. Right. Either make clans slower or punish dashers.
Yeah. Right. Give me.
And they would be. I think they become an easy choice against them as well because like Rocky Gorge is counter to how your clans are building. It's gonna You get to put it in for free in your Comstar, and it's going to cost them damage.
Yeah. So, just for reference, this is from the Origins tournament that was run in Columbus, Ohio. This is the Batchel deck that was run there. Tony Miracle put this together. It was 46 cards, and this is a Steiner deck. Okay. And you can see that Commando, Wolfhound, Hermes, Stealth, Hatchetman, Night Sky, Tree Bucket or Trebuchet, Quick Draw, Caesar, Rakshasa, Awesome Zeus, Stalker, Banshee. It very much looks like the Steiner Commander's Edition. 5 assembly, 5 munitions, 2 politics, 5 tactics, 1 inside job, 1 mech track, 1 misrouted, 1 treachery, 1 brutal punch, 1 calm guard, 1 good shooting, 1 overrun, 1 taking the hit. Taking the hit's not a bad card in this format either. Unopposed and a vicious kick. It's hardly an optimized deck. It is far from an optimized deck. So yeah, I could have optimized it. Yeah, I could have put 3 false maps in and 3 rocky
No,
gorges.
I'm not saying going that far. Obviously, no. I just even in the one-offs. I'm
Yeah,
just you're asking what does a clan play out. I'm just saying
yeah,
what
yeah,
does it
sure,
play out,
sure, yeah,
right?
you know,
What do you answer your clans with? Then they're just standard
mhm,
answers.
yeah,
Um, like Deep Lake actually benefits the clans far more. In if you have an idea what's coming in this format and how
hmm,
overheat works, Deep Lake just hurts. You know you're going to get
yeah,
hit by overheat.
yeah,
And yes, you have Interseer mechs with overheat. I know, but you know that they're going to be optimizing for overheat over yours, right?
hmm, quite possibly, yeah, but
Or it's an option that you're going to face because whatever you're going to face, again, you're likely to face it more as I feel still as a streamed down mechanic, right, than a
hmm,
slogging deck, just based between your mechanic on cost, right,
yeah.
and how you have to play it. The other question is, do you come with a sandbagged clan deck and just plan to play Comstar, and how would you do that? Like you come with a ridiculously expensive clan deck,
You mean you want to put
and you
6 of
plan,
those Kodiaks in?
yeah, and you just say, yeah, here's my clan deck. It's 60 cards, and um,
Full of
it has,
Daishis, yeah,
yeah, it's full of Daishis, Kodiaks, and everything does 6 damage, and
It's
right.
150 points.
Is there a way off of these 45 cards that we can
mm-hmm.
build something that's ridiculously scary, or is it spread out enough? And I think the answer is yes. I think the fact that the cost is you got AMPT, um, you've even got L, right? So you actually have every cost covered in your
Mm-hmm.
build. Uh, that Grand, no one wants to play that Grand Crusader. So
Black market
No,
food,
no, no. You're mistaken. I would love to play the Grand Crusader.
yeah, could do.
why?
Just to get it on the table, give me a free deploy.
Oh, there's nothing stopping you put 6 diamond wheels in the deck.
No, suppose there's not.
Oh,
When is the date of your event again, Mark?
Um, I think notionally it was the 1st of June.
Okay.
Um, that I appreciate is short time, and I haven't had any time in the last fortnight to push anything for a number of personal reasons, for want of anything else. I've only
Yes.
streamed once because I've been so busy. I haven't. I've played one game in sealed recently that was already in the diary effectively, and I'm not sure how that's going to develop. It seems that every day something changes, and until that works out, then I can't put as much priority and effort into this as possible. So, if somebody said we're close, but I want another week to do it, or even a fortnight, I would I wouldn't bat an eyelid, or I wouldn't mind if people were happy if that date moved a bit. Um,
well,
so
worst case scenario, you and me and Mitch will just do a round robin.
okay. Offer
Right.
accepted. Okay, so
Sunday would work better for me for gaming. That's Saturdays. I'm usually quite busy, but
we will fit
um,
that in whenever. Okay.
yeah.
I was going to go from there in order to entice some people to maybe even try and play this. I was going to get Chester to tell us about the offer he made last week regarding cubes with 6 sides.
This I like. Yeah.
Yes, in the large batch of dice that I made some years back, I had a bunch of extras made, and I still have a little bag of probably about 40 or 50 extra dice, and I would be happy to offer them up as prizes, one each, for anybody that wants to join in. And the only cost for it is I can't uh, charge for the dice other than the cost of having them made. Um, but I would need to get reimbursed for the postage, which right now is $5.
Okay, and
To send
are
along.
these in sets?
Pardon?
Are these in sets or are they just random dice?
No. They're I will. What I'll do is I'll post a list of all the different ones that I have, and you'll be able to rank everybody as far as well, this person's first, this person's second, this person's third, and first, second, and third. Um, everybody that joins, everybody that plays, then your rank will be there. Be able to choose, you'll be first to choose, and if I've only got one word of Blake, and you want the word of Blake, and somebody else chooses it ahead of you, well, you'll have to make a different choice.
All right.
But it's not a problem.
Oh,
I'll
no,
be
it's
happy
fine.
to toss them in there.
Yeah.
Everybody likes a little outfit dice.
Yeah. So is it a set of 5 dice that are themed on a particular house or clan then?
Like I said, I'll post what I have, and we'll go.
Okay, but you are you saying it's a pack of dice or is it a single die?
No, it's just a single.
It's a single die and it's themed around one of the houses or clans. Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
Still kind of you.
Yeah.
Still very kind of you.
Yeah. It is very kind of you. And if you can work out what postage is, that would be really cool. If it's just.
Well, I know what the postage is. If it's in the States, it's $5. I don't know what the postage is overseas, but I can find that out from the post office without any problem.
You should be able to put a dice in an envelope, should you not? Or is it because it's bulky?
No, the problem with putting it in an envelope is that the post office has a thing of thickness. Okay, it's not just the size of the envelope; it's a thickness with it as well.
Yes.
And so I have a small envelope. It's I think it's 4x6 that I can put it in. It's a little bubble wrap. But those are $5. It used to be 4. Now they're 5. But thank you, post office. At least will still send it.
And what's the postage to Canada?
Usually similar to continental United States plus border.
Yeah, it's probably, let's see, five here in the States. It'd probably be about 7, maybe 8. It's no offense, but it's silly.
I know it's not everyone wants to go to Canada. I appreciate that.
Right now, not a lot of people want to go to Canada because
he says, having visited there recently.
Yeah.
Well, I like to brag that I did find a cheerleader across the border there, brought her down from the Yukon. Yeah, he's living the dream.
Yes. Cool.
All right. Anyway, gentlemen, I do need to take off for the afternoon. This has been a great conversation. I think it was actually advantageous to do a deep dive on the Betchall tournament style and really think about options and deck building, because there's a lot there. Even the concept really we didn't talk about at all. But is there a bit of a swarm deck for the clans where they could play low cost overheaters, maybe even some of the overheaters that kill themselves or do a lot of damage to themselves? But you're not really worried about that. You're just worried about your damage spike and that keeping your cost of your mechs, like 1 or 2 damage mechs that just have the overheats and the alpha strengths, right? And see what that would bring to the table. And you could even potentially have like a larger deck in that format, right? You could end up with a 60 plus card deck if that's still an option.
No, 60 cards the max.
You have the 60 max as well still?
60 max, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that would be that's ruled out then, but
that's all right. There are options there. I mean, if it's that cheap, you could potentially gimp the resources a bit and drop those down. But You know, it's all about adding value, but not adding too much value. And the question obviously is how much is enough value? So, okay. Mitch, I know you've got to go, but thank you for all your time. It's very much appreciated. Likewise, Chester, always a pleasure to sit and talk to you, and we shall have to do it again. Uh, do we have time to put something in the calendar now, or are we going to do this offline and I'll close everything down and we can work out what we're going to do and when we're going to do it? I don't mind. I'm happy one way or the
Are you talking about submitting our deck?
other. Oh, well, I can do that, but I mean, if you want to sit and do another chat or whatever, then happy to do so.
Sure. When would be a good time for you again?
I'll tell you what. I'll
These Wednesdays continue to work. This timing on Wednesday works fairly well for me, and it's consistent to plan around. I can give this 2 hour time frame fairly easily.
Cool. So next Wednesday or the
We
Wednesday
can do
after?
next Wednesday, or we can plan for every 2 weeks, whatever works for you guys.
So you want the same time frame then, right?
Yeah, it works. If that's okay with you, Chester, obviously.
So it's 10 o'clock for me. 8 o'clock works better, but I don't. Can we split down the middle and meet at 9?
That would put it at 5 your time, Mark.
Which I'm not going to be able to do because we eat about that time.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's your dinner hour. Okay, so I do have to wait till. Sure, I'll commit to that.
Next Wednesday, same time.
Same bat channel, same bat time.
Oh, it's got to be 10 o'clock my time. 10. It's the Mark and Mitch show.
We could. Do you want to give it a week to kind of
Everybody-
come up a couple options, or Chester had mentioned he had a cube draft. Also, I thought that he had figured out on something here. Is that?
Yes, but that features a lot of BT cards in it.
Oh, okay.
So that may or may not be familiar. But the problem with doing a cube is it's very detailed, and oh my gosh, I'm sure that Mark would be able to randomize it properly. But yeah, he and I would have to sit down and have a very long talk about that one, which I don't mind doing.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, we ran the cube twice, and it is beyond a hoot. It's just, I don't know if you've ever played a cube before. Usually that was a format made for Magic, but it's just beyond awesome. It was a wondrous pleasure to play. If you've ever done Magic or BattleTech in a straight draft, that was a question for both of you.
Yes, I've done them in a draft. That was the other thing I was thinking about. If I'm not sure how well Lackey supports that, would be doing an actual kind of an actual draft to see what the three of us would build again. I think that's.
So when you say draft, you're talking about opening a pack and then passing it around.
Yeah, so
that can be
you
done.
have to kind of open the pack. It can be done.
Yeah. I worked out how to do it. What you do is you open a draft pack and load it to your hand, as does everybody else, and then you take the card you want to keep and put it in your sideboard, and then there is a command to rotate the decks from one player to another, but that doesn't include the sideboard. So basically, you use the sideboard as a dumping ground for the cards that you draft.
Well, why don't we plan fun to do a bit of a draft pool deck? Just build the three of us and see what that comes out with, and why we make those decisions.
Yeah, sure, we can do that in the future as well.
Yeah. Oh, that would be heck of fun.
Yeah, now I've got to remember how to do it. Yeah, but it can. Yeah, it can be done. It can be done. I know it can be done because I worked out how to do it for that and Rochester as well.
Yes, yes. I
Yes,
remember you had,
it was.
had
I've
that
done
in
it.
It's
video. Yeah.
in
Yeah, I've
Lackey.
never
It's the
done a
same.
Rochester draft.
Yeah, in Lackey, it's the same methodology, if I remember rightly. But we've got time to play and have a look.
Yeah.
Cool. So hopefully we'll be back next week, everybody, with the Mark,
Absolutely.
Mitch, and Chester show. Hopefully I'll have their cards finished. Hopefully we'll get a webcam or two. And hopefully I can sort out OBS so I can get these guys on the screen because it would be
Oh,
lovely.
I've got a webcam if you're ready. I just have no idea. So
Yeah. Oh, again,
Yeah,
we
if
can
you're
practice
willing
that.
to look at my front room, go for it.
yeah.
Cool.
All right. I'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah.
Great talking with you.
Okay.
Take care, everybody.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Chester. Thank you, Mitch. Right, I'm
Thank you,
going to
Mark.
shut everything down now. So.